Now I want to give you a quick look at implementing these grouping, subtotals, and report totals inside of the code itself. And I'm going to do it using a different tack than we do in the lab exercise. So inside of my application, I'm going to go and find my report driver, or I'm going to find my report block. And when I navigate down to the report block, here's what I had to add to change this so that it created these totals and sent them across. The first thing I needed to do was after I defined my data record type using that type definition, I then went and did an item total, an order total, a store total, and a report total. So I have 4 total variables that I can use. My order external by hasn't changed. I'm ordering it by store num and I'm ordering it by order num. And now underneath the format, in my format, the before group, so the first thing is before my group of data.customer.storenum, I'm going to go ahead and print data.customer.storenum. If I wanted to add the store name as well, I could add any information I would want to put across for any sort of header or preamble before we get into the detailed data rows for a specific store. So let me add that. Under my order number, I'm going to print my data.orders.ordernum. So every time my order number changes, before I start processing the new order detail, I'm going to send across the order number for the order detail. Now on my on every row, I'm going to let my line item total, I'm going to let my item total equal to the quantity times the price. And then I'm going to print that data row, the full data row, and I'm adding the item total to it. Now, after the group, when the order number changes, after the group, I'm going to let my order total equal to my group sum of the quantity times the price. And that will multiply quantity times price for every item within the range of an order number and then sum those together. And after I calculate this order total, of course, I'll need to print the order total so that it gets sent across to the report engine. Likewise with the store number, after my group of data.customer.storenum, I'm going to let the store total equal to the group sum of quantity times price. And then having calculated the store total, I will send it across using a print statement. Then on last row, I'm going to let my report total equal to the sum of quantity times price. So it's the sum of all rows. And I'm going to print that report total. So the changes have been made. Let me go ahead and save. And then I'm going to rebuild my application. When I rebuild the application, because my report driver has the build-rdd, let me verify in my properties view, has the build-rdd compiler flag. Now when I open up a report that uses the RDD, I expect to get this message. My data schema has changed. I added these before groups and after groups, so my data schema, my RDD file has changed. Do I want to use the new RDD file? Of course I do. I click OK. And now if I go and look at my data view, what I expect to see is I have a group of store number, and then I have my before group store number, and I'm passing across the store number and the store name. Those were my print statement. In my group of order num, I have a before group of order number. I'm passing across the order number. I have my on every row. It has that data record, but the last thing I added was my item total. After the group of order num, I have an order total to use. After the group of store num, I have a store total to use. And on last row, I have a report total to use. So you can see how my report driver, by adding the before group, my on every row, and after groups, and on last row, once I did the recompilation, it was picked up in my RDD file, and it's reflected here inside of the data view. My structure view, let me go to my report structure view, that I don't expect to change because I have the store number group, the order number group, and I have the on every row. In the next part of the demo, we'll go through and look at building this list report out and adding our totals to this list report.